Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting order. Sorry, it's a little bit late, but appreciate you being here. This is the Payson City Council meeting for December 18th, 2024. We'll open this meeting with prayer, and Kirk Beecher will open it for us.
Our Lord in heaven, we're thankful for this opportunity we have this day to be in Payson City Council meeting. We're thankful, Father, for all of our many blessings, for the opportunity we have to be in this great country and all live here in Payson. We're thankful for those members of the council and mayor and other staff that are here tonight, helping to make good decisions for the city and for the residents that live here. Bless us all. We'll have thy spirit with us. Enjoy one another's company in all that we do. And we're thankful for all the many blessings we have. And so we say in thy son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Kirk. Don Forbush will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Don. Okay, we'll be moving on to C, consent agenda. Number one, approval of the December 4th, 2024 City Council minutes. And number two, approval of the November 22nd and 23rd, 2024 City Council retreat minutes. If there's no discussion, council, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a
I'll
mo-
heard it, and then we've all.
Well, then we'll all talk about it, you bet. Okay, the motion carries, and since we're only we're missing two of our council members, everything will have to be a roll call. So starting with Teresa.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to D, petitions. Number one, presentation of financial audit for fiscal year 2023, 2024. Ben, are you here? Okay, thank you, Ben.
Good evening, glad to be here. My name is Ben Brooks with Gilbert Stewart CPAs. Present to you the financial audit for the June 30th, 2024 fiscal year end. Before I start, just want to thank Kathy and those that work with her, and also others that have responded to inquiries and things like that. As you know, as part of our audit, we'll give trial balance, and then we'll, from that, do sampling, invoices and checks. We'll send out inquiries to third parties and also to departments and on certain items, trying to get confirmations on numbers, on revenue that come in, on expenditures. And we'll even physically inspect some areas and make sure that what's saying is being done is done, and buildings, construction's going on. So it takes some time to put the audit together. As you know, a lot of things now, you don't see the paper, but I mean, that's a pretty thick report that we put together, that Kathy has put together, and tying in all the numbers. We'll take that and the financial part and we'll tie those numbers back to the books, basically. And so that's part of the audit. So I just wanted to briefly highlight that takes some time as we review and go over, so we can issue our report. Because that's what we do, is we gather the evidence necessary to be able to issue an opinion on the financial statements, and then those are then submitted to the state auditor's office, and And every government entity in the state has to do that, so. So my report basically begins on. Let's see, page 17, and I just want to briefly read one paragraph, the second paragraph of that report on page 17. It's the independent auditor's report. It says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respect, the respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of Payson City as of June 30th, 2024, and the respective changes in financial positions and where applicable cash flows thereon for the year then and in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Basically, that's the best opinion you can get. It's an unmodified opinion, and state these financial statements are materially presented and no material errors. There's a couple of other reports that we issue. One is we don't give an opinion, it's on internal controls. The other one is a state compliance. The state has, rules and laws and regulations that each government entity has to maintain. And we'll, some of them you have to review or see if you're following the guidelines every 3 years. Some are the same in every year. That report is near the end. And I'll just briefly highlight what we looked at for state compliances. We look at the budgetary, make sure we're within the budget guidelines. We look at the fund balance. State has restrictions on how much you can maintain in your fund balance. Make sure that the auditor's office, the state auditors, requires a fraud risk assessment to be assessed every year, and that you probably have already go through that annually. We review certain things with the Justice Court, and with taxes, government fees, tax management, URS, and system, things like that that we have to review and ensure that the city's in compliance. We didn't find any reportable conditions or anything expressed, and there's a letter that we issued that normally we would report that, and there's nothing there. Not here. Right. Okay, sorry about that. So that's our report. I don't know if you have any questions or comments or want to go over anything in particular in the report, but I can, basically that's the summary of it. And if you have questions, you can get with me anytime.
Any questions, council?
No.
Sounds like we're doing well financially, and that Kathy, which we already know, is doing a very good job for us.
Yes, I think you are. I think the city is doing a great fiscal responsibilities.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ben.
Okay, moving on to number 3, update on the I-15 interchange. We're all very curious about that. We have Eric Grasband here from UDOT. It's our pleasure to work with Eric. And Eric, you have the floor.
Appreciate it. Let me try and bring a PowerPoint up here in just a second. Okay. We go. My name is Eric Rasman. I'm the project manager for UDOT on this new interchange.
Eric, can you adjust the mic?
Thank you. Is that better?
Yes,
Thank you. Again, Mayor, Council, thanks for letting us have an opportunity to come and visit with you. We're hoping to get to know you well over the next several months as we work through the design of this project. And so today is really an introduction, laying out the timeline and trying to set up some of the project challenges that we have ahead of us. So the history of the project is we completed an environmental study in February of 2019. That alternative selected the braided ramp alternative. And then the issue, or it used 2040 traffic volumes. So because of that, things have changed. We've progressed now to 2024. We have to do a reevaluation of that environmental document, and we have to bring it up to 2050 traffic volumes. So that's good because we'll end up hopefully designing and clearing a project that will last well into the future and move forward. In 2023, under SB 2, the legislature identified $95 million pending a sizable right-of-way donation. We have received that donation from PRI, a wing of the LDS Church. We're working with them on some adjacent, basically we've acquired their property between I-15 and SR 198, 100 North. And we are working on finalizing a deal on the west side of the freeway over Main Street with them right now. We're very close to a deal with them. That deal also includes a right-of-way donation from them. So they're contributing a fair amount of in-kind match, if you will, to the project, which is exciting. And Mayor, I believe you were involved in a lot of this negotiation, so we appreciate it. So phase one, there's a lot of questions about what phase one means. In this drawing here on the right is the orange. So it's the ramps to and from the north, a bridge across I-15, and then a roadway over to SR 198. It does not include the structure over the railroad or the connection up to SR 115 on Main Street, North Main Street. And so we plan on moving that forward. With this phase, we're going to have to realign a portion of the railroad. So we're going to have to get permits from the railroad and from UTA as we move forward. And we're starting those conversations right now. We want this project to be forward compatible. We understand there's concern about the current name we're using, Eagle Beltway. We're not tied to that. There's opportunities if the city desires to go in a different direction. Let's have a conversation. So 5 lanes between I-15 and SR 198 under the previous environmental study. When we go to 2050, we don't know what that means. It's at least 5 lanes. 2050 may push us to a 7-lane. Funding at the 95 million that we have, we're challenged to get all the way to 198 and with even the full 5-lane right now. So it's a concern. We'll continue to work with the team here at the city and maximize our funding as we move forward and get as much project as we can. And there could be a condition where we purchase the right of way and we build a narrow cross section and would have to come back at a future date and add the additional width. But it's based on, we'll stretch that budget as far as we can as we're moving forward. Of course, you're aware of the PRI TOD process that's going on. Frontrunner is doing an environmental study right now to bring Frontrunner down to Payson at the southern terminus. And so we're working closely with our partners over at UTA. So future items that we need to coordinate with you: aesthetics, signing and landscaping. This is an issue for every project that we have. We have a very limited ability for aesthetics. It means landscaping, decorative lighting, monument signing. Basically, the project, our budget allows for 0.75% of the construction dollars. So 95 is what our budget is. Our construction dollars are somewhere between 70 and 75 million. That means our budget for aesthetics is somewhere in the $500,000 to $550,000 range. That won't go very far. We will put in a baseline landscaping. It's not great. It's freeway standard. It's topsoil and natural grasses with them that would not require watering of any type of irrigation. So we plan to have a workshop with the city to look at landscaping and determine what the city wants. If there's costs over and above that $550,000 number wherever we land, that becomes the responsibility of the city to pay for it. So we'll work with staff as we move forward, and I'm sure we'll be back talking to you in the future about those issues. So betterments, we understand the city would like to get some utilities underneath this new corridor, so the design and construction elements of that would also be a betterment. And so we need to lay out some information. We're currently asking our designers to give us a cost for the design of those utilities, so that we can bring it to the city staff and they can have a conversation with you on how to move forward on those items. UANT's treatment plant is close to this area. This particular phase, we don't anticipate is going to impact them, but we need to continue conversations with them as we move forward. They've actually reached out to us and have some questions, and we have some meetings scheduled with them in early January to talk through those issues. Just from a schedule, we've got our designers on board. This morning we had our kickoff meeting. We talked through a lot of issues that we need to resolve over the next year and a half. In the spring, we want to finish our environmental scoping. We still need to gain permits from the federal highway government, or from the federal government for the construction of the project through both the Corps of Engineers and the EPA. We also need to get a permit from the Federal Highway Administration to put a new interchange. The fact that this is a half interchange, there's some challenges. We've got some good partners up there that are committed to working with us. And so, again, we're gonna have a workshop with FHWA to make sure that we're moving forward, we're addressing their concerns and needs as we move forward. We'd like to get to a 30% design in May, have the environmental document completed in the summer. And then our plan in hand, that's kind of where we're getting real close. DS&E is the final stage as we're getting ready to submit the documents to the contracting community. Our goal is to advertise in 26. I mentioned the permitting process with Union Pacific and with UTA. That probably is the element that is going to take us the most time to work through those permitting requirements as we move forward. All of those items are risks as we're starting in the project, but we have a plan to start working through those issues. So early in 2025, we're reaching out, and we have meetings scheduled with property owners, PRI, UVU, the power plant, the adjacent businesses. Paris RV is one that we're visiting with, and so really is to start talking through the issue. We need to have a workshop so that they understand what the project is. With managing expectations is going to be one of our challenges moving forward. We need to make sure that we're communicating to everybody that will be impacted by this project. So we continue to offer coordination and updates. We're working with your staff. We believe we're going to be coming in once a month to update you on the status of the project. There might be months where there's not a lot to report. We may defer, but we're hoping for that opportunity to come visit. Key milestones. We've got such good. Your staff here they're great partners. We really appreciate working with them. And then as we finalize that environmental document, we need to have a public meeting to finalize. That'll be late summer, early fall of 25. If there are any questions, we staff this hotline 24/7, unfortunately for some people. But there's an email, there's a website available with information, and we encourage the public and any of you to reach out at any times. So with that, are there any questions?
Council?
Thank you. Is the budget fixed, or is there any kind of buffer for inflation? Because we know things would cost a little more in 2026.
Currently, our budget is fixed at that 9 to 5.
Fixed number.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have to adjust our scope based on that budget. And
So the road just gets skinnier.
that's a realistic option. We want to make sure that if we have to go in and acquire right away, we're getting the correct width. Only, right away acquisition is one of the most disruptive things we do as an agency. we want to minimize that disruption to the property owners that are impacted by that. So,
And we also have a strategy to, as if this is a maybe 3 or 4 phase project, and we will continue to find ways to get more budget.
one of our early task items is to get an updated cost estimate with a manual of options for the city prior to the legislative session.
Excellent.
That's as far as I can go in that conversation. But the city does have options that I don't have access to.
We'll be heavily involved in the legislature, just the budgetary process, and see what we can do.
So do you have a group meeting when you have call in all the different people who need to sell their ground to you?
We'll go visit with those property owners individually.
Do you ever having problems, holdouts or something, or, I mean, you don't like to threaten people, but
We try really, really hard. Our process, I've been involved with this right of way process, and when projects are involved, it tends to fall on the fair side. Not everybody feels that way. This is guaranteed by the US Constitution, fair and just compensation.
yeah,
And so we try to work with the property owners. There's relocation benefits if there's an instance where we have to impact a property where people need to relocate. There's assistance and that type of thing. If we can't come to a resolution, unfortunately, at times we have to exercise the eminent domain, but we work hard to avoid that.
From my experience, I think UDOT, you guys do a pretty dang good job of that, avoiding eminent domain, and I'm grateful for that, because some of the other states do not. And so thank you. And I just wanted to mention 2 things, and one of them is not necessarily related, but I've got a UDOT representative here, so I'm gonna bend your ear for a minute.
Please.
First thing is, on this project, sometimes you feel like UDOT's a little reactive. And so I'm glad to see that some of these plans are proactive, that there's room to grow, and for width and for phases. That's excellent. Thank you for being proactive on this. And one thing I just want to plug further to the south, our 800 South exit. Boy, that would sure be proactive and wise if we could get in front of that a little bit. That's going to be a huge monstrosity of a mess with traffic after our Red Bridge development goes in, and so that bridge will need to be widened. And so I just hope I'm plugging that, planting that seed, that's on your guys' mind to do sooner than later, I hope.
I just started this new role as a project manager in the last 2 to 3 months. Prior to that, I spent 6 years as the region planner. So I've worked closely with the city on planning that. It's currently in the Mountain Land Association of Governments Phase 2 funded project list. That's an interesting quandary statewide. We are programmed out to year 2030, 2031 with our current funding. And there are close to 60 or 70 projects that are in the phase 1 list of projects that are unfunded. Phase 1 in the planning horizon ends in 2032. We're not going to get to every project statewide, and that's a reality. We just don't have enough resources to get everywhere that we need to. We certainly are watching that one. We are aware of the challenges that are going to come, and we're hoping. But unfortunately, it's not programmed for any treatment until 2033 to 2042. Somewhere in that decade.
Okay, let's shoot closer to 2030. That'd be great.
Fair.
Yeah. No, I just want to plant that seed. I know it's far down the road, but we could save ourselves a lot of money by jumping on it sooner or later. So
The
thank you.
mayor participates in all those committees, and Mountain Land is a great representative of the city. In fact, I think you're co-chair or chair of one.
Yeah, I'll be the chair this coming year.
That's what I thought.
And, and kudos to Eric and Rob at UDOT. They do a great job working with us. We meet with them quarterly, and we were able to move this project for just, and I'm sure that the council knows, and also for the benefit of the citizens here. We were able to move this project forward a number of years.
Decade.
Yes,
Yeah.
whole decade. And so, and we'll continue to work that and to make that progress as well. Any other questions?
thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We'll see you next month.
Okay,
Thank you, Eric.
thanks.
Pleasure. Okay, we'll go to number 4, public forum. Anyone can speak. Try to limit your comments to 3 minutes in that general area, and let us know who you are, and we'll go to that point.
My name is Jeff Rowley. I'm here representing Payson Fruit Growers. I'm a board member there. I've been farming cherries almost my entire life. And we wanted to come and tell the city council, the Payson City and the workers and everybody, thank you for your participation and help in keeping us in business for 60 years. We're celebrating 60 years this year. And I was gonna read, we have a card inside of these cherries we wanted to hand out. And then the card, it reads, Merry Christmas. Payson Fruit Growers celebrate 60 years of growing and processing tart cherries this year. Throughout that time, we have worked with more than 10,000 employees in Utah County, processed more than 500 million pounds of cherries, and supported companies like Walmart, Costco, General Mills, Cliff Bar, and hundreds of other businesses around the world with our products to become one of the top tart cherry producers in the country. As we take a moment to reflect on this accomplishment, we recognize that we did not do this alone. We want to thank you for the help that you have given us as we have traveled this journey together. And just to say thank you, and we know that, you know, at me growing up in this industry of being just a little dirt clod kicker to where I'm at now, I know it takes way more than just me going out and planting a tree, because everything it takes, I mean, I've learned so much, and just wanted to say thank you. We have a little box of cherries to give each one of you. And then we have some extras for the rest of the office members and everything, so.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Council, you have any questions for him?
I'll go on the record. Payson Fruit Growers is my favorite business.
I wonder why.
So, anyways,
We are very grateful that you're here, and we have a great working relationship, and we want to protect that, so thank you.
yes, thank you very much, and we'll continue to work together in whatever capacity we need to.
So we appreciate that.
Thank you. Just send one
This is
that
on
table
that
right
table.
there.
Great.
Thank you, Jeff and Chad.
Okay, will anybody else like to take advantage of the public forum? Give anybody online? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public forum and move on to staff reports. If we have any staff who would like to get up and speak with us? Crickets, is that right? Okay. Okay. We'll move.
You guys just want the meeting to be short.
Well, I don't mind that either on the 18th of December. Okay, we'll go to council report, starting with Council Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. Merry Christmas to everyone, all the residents and this wonderful city staff. We held our first official youth council meeting last night, and we put together some kits that we're going to donate to Nebo School District for kids that may not have the opportunity to eat lunch while they are missing out on school lunch during the Christmas break. And we had a resident stop by and bring us over 200 items to put in these kits. And we built quite a few kits last night. We've got engaged youth. We're all registered for our trip to the state capitol in January for local officials day. So we look forward to that. And I'm just so thankful to be part of that process. I want to thank everyone that helped participate in Payson Park the last few weeks with the lights and also the community creche that was there, the nativity setup. That was wonderful. If you didn't have a chance to do that, look for it next year. And I'm happy it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Real quickly, I'd like to echo Merry Christmas to everyone. It's a great time of year, probably my favorite time of year. And one thing I'd like to add there too is to echo what Ryan just said about those kits that you have. Our Interfaith Council does that as well on an ongoing basis. We donate some money to Taylor Elementary, and they are used as a clearinghouse, and they take care of what Helping Hands backpack that they give individual students that they know are going to be challenged. And they do that through the school year, and the amount varies from year to year and month to month, but we want to make sure that we take care of those that are less fortunate than us. So thank you for doing that. It's well received and well needed. Okay, Council Moss.
I'll say Merry Christmas as well. What a wonderful time it is right now. I was honored to attend the Payson City Employee Luncheon a few days ago, and that was really neat to see everyone there and so many people that we don't normally see here at the offices at all. It was neat to see how many people it takes to run the city, and without them, we would fail. It was amazing, and the food was good, and the Highway Derby was, I heard it was really fun, and those cars were really cool looking. So I look forward to next year's already. Also, this past week we had, I've had a few people talk to me about the warning tickets that people are getting in parking on the streets during the winter, and we got 2 at my house. But I would like to open this up and ask staff to work on an amendment of this ordinance. I think we have better things to use our resources on than ticketing people on non-snow days. I think we should fix it so it's not such a broad, from December 1st to March, whatever, nobody can park on the streets at all. I think it should just be when it's actually snowing. Because we have that ability now to find out if it's really gonna snow, besides just looking out the window. And so, if we could, let's start working on that. I've had a lot of people talk to me, and not just on Facebook, I've gotten phone calls and stuff. So, and I think that's it for me.
Just real quickly, since you opened that up.
Yes.
Just to explain to those that are here, and with my background as law enforcement and enforced that for a number of years.
Mhm.
One of the reasons we have that type of ordinance, and I understand the challenge of snow days and no snow days, is the cities, it became, and many other cities became, it became very litigious for us, where as the snow was cleared from the roads, there's no way to really control that snow as it comes off those blades, and even they need to maintain the speed of at least 20 miles an hour. Many times people think it's going faster than that, but I've ridden with them multiple times, and it throws the snow a distance, and so we sometimes try to minimize that, damage cars that are parked on the side of the road.
Right.
And so that's the main reason for that, and I'll be glad to participate when you just ask for it. Okay.
Hey, we can, Mayor.
Yes.
We can have a conversation about that at like DRC and
Yep.
bring everybody in.
Wonderful,
Perfect.
wonderful.
Thanks, Robert.
Teresa.
You covered everything.
Oh, that's why you're last.
Ditto. You know, you
No, I don't.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a wonderful holiday, because it is a wonderful holiday. All I can say, be grateful, not just for Thanksgiving, but be grateful because we have so much. So thank you for putting those good things together. Yeah. Thank your city for helping put the other two together. That's.
And I do a mayor's message. Many of you may read it and some of you may not, but that's one of the things I put in there is, please be mindful of those people that are less fortunate than you. We're very lucky, and we don't necessarily have to buy people presents. It just our demeanor, or, you know, a smile or a friendly hello. You'll be amazed how far that goes from time to time. And so thank you. Okay. We move on, put my eyes on so I can see it. Go to E, action items, a resolution appointment of new Bay committee members, and I guess I'm the one that's got the floor. We were able to interview I think we had 7 or 8 hopefuls, had three openings, and we settled on 3 individuals, 2 of which have been on the council before. Committee before. Chris Johnson, he's been there before. He'll be a very good addition to the Bay committee. Adam Cowie is currently on there and wanted to be retained, and so we would submit Adam Cowie's name to the list. And the third one would be Bridget Cheever. We're very impressed with Bridget. She has an awful lot of good ideas that need to be explored, and in addition to that, she said, I'm more than happy to participate in those ideas. So council, I would submit to you Chris Johnson, Adam Cowie, and Bridget Cheever to fill those slots.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the new Bay committee members that you presented before us.
Okay, and we need a roll call vote again, starting with Council Hyatt,
Yes,
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
so, some of those people that applied, I mean, do we have other places that,
And that's
I
one
would
of the,
like to look at that.
you bet, that's one of the things that we talked to about as we interviewed them, that there are other places, and it would be a good list for us to choose from, you bet, and we plan on doing that. So that's something that's important to us. So, okay, wonderful. We'll move on to number 2, public hearing, Luna Springs. I'm probably saying that wrong. How do you say it, Michael?
Area.
Okay, Lunaria Springs annexation at approximately 1500 east and 100 south, and annexation agreement would be a resolution. So Michael, go ahead.
So that presentation I'm going to bring up quickly just to give you some orientation of the area. So this is the area, it's just west of South Haven Farms. Right there, I don't know if you can see it on my cursor, but so the South Haven development is here in this area. This is 1500 east, and it would be these 3 5-acre lots right here. That's what being considered tonight.
Michael, are the parcels to the north already in Payson or no?
Yes, this is.
This is
in
Payson,
right
okay.
here. And I think it ends, I want to say right here, whoops. It doesn't go all the way to the road from what I understand. It goes,
So is it going east?
it would be this one,
Yeah.
this one, and this one for this annexation. The city boundary, I believe, is right here.
And where does how far towards Salem does will the proposed Nebo Belt way come? Is it close
So
to
Nebo
these?
Beltway will actually be right here at 1500 east.
It will be right there.
Which is 2100 west of the county address.
So just to show you from the county parcel map, it's those 3 parcels. Looks like I was a bit off, so our city boundary is there in yellow. So I think I pointed out it's right around here, but no, it's a little bit further back, so. This is the concept layout that the applicant sponsor has approved. Our staff developed this and submitted it to him, and he approved this. So you did have in your packet something the applicant submitted to us. This is something that we submitted in response, and he has now agreed to.
I like your straight roads a lot better.
We do too. So this is what he's suggesting. With it, he would request the R175 zoning for this area. Previously in iterations being discussed with the applicant sponsor, he was looking for the multifamily zoning for this area. And so it's higher density and higher amount of housing units. And so that's why
if you've looked at the annexation agreement, there's a little bit of vagueness in there when it comes to amenities and the like. That was intentional because he was going to provide amenities for us for that multifamily. Now that he's considering this, I leave that more open to you of what you feel might be appropriate for amenities there. And Mr. McNeil is online that he could answer any questions related there too. You can see this area here, this long narrow strip. This is what's being proposed for a detention basin area and to have some buffering from 1500 east, which Mr. Rasband already told us is going to be a fairly wide road in the future. That area might have some flexibility to have some grassy areas or some place to walk the dog or, you know, whatever. But I'll let Mr. McNeil speak to that if he have those desires to hear from him on that. So with that, I already talked about most of this stuff here. So it would be 48 lots potentially there. The R175 zoning is what he's requesting. In the annexation agreement, he's proposing some design elements for the homes and some design products that would go on the homes. This would also be regulated by our East Side Comprehensive Plan, and how that is regulated is part of our Planned Residential Development Code. So the only thing really to be determined is what I mentioned to you prior. If there's any desired or what you feel necessary amenities for here, that's what we would want to see from you tonight. And so with that, staff would recommend approval with those things that we talked about.
Just to confirm, he's moving from high density multifamily to single family homes, right?
Correct. So it would be a total of 48 single family home lots, approximately 7,500 square feet. The corner lots would be bigger.
Is Mr. McNeil going to be the developer, or is he just gonna sell lots?
That would be a question for him. Rob, are you there?
I am,
Glad to answer some questions for us, Rob.
Thanks, Rob, for coming online. In regards to your proposed development, are you gonna be the developer, or are you just going to sell the lots?
I will be selling the project off, yes.
I guess what can we do to protect ourselves against something that happened real similar in that area with some mobile homes? Okay, and we have that, in place that protects us to have actual homes there. Okay,
Do they
And
have to have garages too?
all subdivisions require a garage.
Okay.
Yep.
okay, and attached.
Our code doesn't say attached. It just says a 2-car garage.
Is there something we can move to?
You want to put that in the annexation?
Yeah.
I think that's something that the council would like. Yes.
Attached by more than just a piece of flashing.
Attached in a traditional manner for a
Yes.
single family.
Yes, there we go. That's good language.
There we go.
Rob, are you willing to do that as part of the criteria for the annexation agreement?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not gonna be putting any trailer houses in there.
Very good. Yeah, we want this to be something that you're proud of and that the community's proud of for decades to come.
Right, absolutely. It'll be a nice community for Payson City. They're on the north side. Excuse me. Thanks for allowing me to do viral tonight. I'm struggling with a little head cold. So, but no, there will not be any trailers there. There'll be standard, single family residences, 2-car garage attached. Yes, for sure. And we can add any of that verbiage in, Michael, into the development agreement.
Can we see that happens, Michael?
Yes, if you want to, you could table the development or the annexation agreement tonight, or if you wanted to give discretion to staff to modify that with the applicant and have that language, we could do that as well.
I think discretion of the staff would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we trust you guys.
I don't like to make people have to come back. I would just rather, because I know in other cities, they just tell you guys what you need to do and they do it. In fact, a lot of times they do it right when you're sitting right there and they write it so that it's done. I've seen it, or I wouldn't know.
We trust you.
Yeah.
We trust you.
So is there any amenities that council would like to speak with Rob about?
So for me, I guess the amenities to me, I don't really have a strong desire for a small pocket park or anything like that. Those go underutilized and kind of can be a nightmare for some of our parks department to maintain. They become a hangout spot. I guess for me, the amenities I'd like to see, a little bit wider roads and enough parking that we can keep some of those trailers that some of these people might have off of the road.
Robert, did you have anything in mind as far as the amenities?
Well, no, not really. I mean, it's only 48 single family homes that are 7,500 square feet, minimum. There's not a lot of room. I did talk to Michael earlier today about possibly doing something in the detention area if that could be used as a dual purpose there. But once again, it would be just a small park, for kids to play on. But
I would echo what Council Rowland said. I don't know that, of course, I don't get to vote on this, but I would echo that it becomes a maintenance issue and underutilized, and so I don't feel with either.
Yeah, we have a lot of those.
If it can be utilized as a retention basin and then something else can go in there ancillary to that, then that's okay, but
Perhaps maybe that would just be utilized as a retention or detention, whichever is necessary there, and then maybe just some attractive landscaping. Yeah.
Michael or Jill, do you guys have any amenities that you'd like to see in your expertise, your knowledge of this?
No, Michael's talked to the group about it, and yeah, I think when he changed the type of product that he wanted to put here and the number of units, that changed, our thoughts on the amenities. Felt that the detached single family fit better with the city's plan versus having higher density and amenities.
Excellent.
Rob, we appreciate you making that change. I know we've had a lot of high density and we still need to pay attention to that, but I believe we need to move towards single family
Yeah,
homes, so
this is what we
appreciate it.
desperately-
yeah, you're welcome, Mayor.
And I was thinking there, so maybe you could get that grass, that they grow in St. George, so it doesn't need a lot of water. And just cover that, because you'd be amazed how many kids go down into those little areas and just kick the ball back and forth, and chase the dog, do whatever. I see it when I go to Arizona, or I wouldn't know.
Just space.
But they just have the grass, but not like our beautiful green grass that takes a lot of water. The grass that they have, desert grass, because we live in the desert.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those detention ponds become the best football fields in every
Yeah,
neighborhood.
exactly, throwing a ball.
We
doing
just
all
need
that kind of
space,
stuff.
just the
Yep.
grass.
Yep.
So
I don't
with,
want rocks. I don't want rocks, because then you can't do anything with it, it's just gravel and rocks.
Well, and those get thrown in the vinyl fences and make things anyway.
We also have to remember that will be alongside a 5-lane.
Yeah, and that's the best place to put it. That's the best,
That's the best place to put a place.
it's not gonna happen right now. That 5-lane highway is not gonna be there probably
Right.
for 20 more years. So we have 20 years to do stuff with it. Well, we hope sooner.
Michael, can you go back to the map that shows his proposed? Yes, so what are we doing in the future with that retention pond? That's on the west side, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what are we planning for the future when there is a big road through there?
So part of the annexation details about dedicating a proper amount of road width for that 1,500 east, as well as 50 north and 100 south.
So he already has to give that.
So he has to give that much for
And
the,
then you have.
and so this area that's the detention is just to retain water in the development.
Yeah, and the way that this is laid out, the right of way on that west side is lined up with the right of way to the north for 1,500 east, which is the set right of way that we need. So it's already taken into account the build out road width. We put in 7,500 square foot lots, and that was just kind of a remnant strip, and so it just made sense to have that be the retention area. Again, to give the buffer between the noise of the traffic and everything that's going to be there.
I kind of see it as up in Orem on 8 South along the east end where there are neighborhoods, there's grass between.
Yeah.
between the homes and the busy roads, so, yeah, I think it's fine.
Good.
Can we, is that area gonna be irrigated or,
I don't think it's anticipated.
okay,
That's what a suggestion.
Yeah, our typical retention basin standard is to not grass them, to do decorative, more decorative rock up at the street level, and then as you go down, kind of more just larger rock, kind of help percolation. But then to do water-wise landscaping, trees and small bushes and stuff around the upper area, but at the street level to kind of hide the pond.
excellent. That was gonna be my next question, Jonathan, is can we plant some trees?
Yeah.
there?
And so that per our development guidelines and our construction standards, that is the typical detail. If we were trying to make it somewhere where for people to use, then yeah, we would allow it to be grassed and irrigated. This will be a Payson City owned and operated storm pond. So we would have to take that into account, that it would become our maintenance issue if we do put grass in there.
Thank you, Jonathan. Sean or Travis, do you guys have, what impact does this put on the infrastructure in this area?
Utility wise, we're good on my side.
Okay,
Good. I think we've got enough information and we can do council discussion after we do this public hearing. So I'll go ahead and ask council for a motion to open a public hearing.
Mayor, I motion to open the public hearing.
my second,
Okay, motion been seconded. Can I do just a vote here? Kim, or do I have to do a roll call? Huh? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Please, those that would like to comment, please step to the mic. Please state your name and tell us where you live, if you would, and speak clearly. Again, try to keep your comments to a minimum, and whether you agree or disagree with the previous comments. Sir.
My name is Brent Anderson. I reside at 645 South, 1400 East.
Thank you.
First of all, I have a couple of questions about the development. You know, we talked about the two-car garage. That is not, you're not going to allow any tandem garages, are you?
That's what we were just talking about. They have to be connected, regular garages like we.
Well, a tandem garage can be connected.
No.
What are you describing as tandems?
Two cars,
There's two
like
cars.
it is, as opposed to side by side, front to back.
Front to back, yeah.
I guess, I have no issues with a larger garage myself. What concerns do you have, sir?
Well, my concern is that if you allow the tandem garages, then it decreases your lot width and may cause some problems with parking because you have to move one car out to get the other one in, so to speak. So if you've got side-by-side garages, it makes a big difference.
Michael, you want to comment to that?
So just to let council know, this is a hearing, so we're not necessarily answering questions tonight. However, this project would be required to meet the R175 zoning, which is going to be the minimum lot sizes associated with that, the setbacks, all of those sort of things. Two-car garage is fairly typical to have side by side, not necessarily in tandem.
Okay.
That would be done typically at subdivision level.
Okay, so it's something that we can address later in the process, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about this parcel, if we may.
Sure.
You're developing this road that's going to come from I-15. So what you're doing is you're underutilizing this parcel, in my opinion. You've got in planning, you need to look at focal points in a community. And certainly one of the things that I think that the commission ought to look at is the hospital. We have to protect the hospital, so to speak, by developing by developing parcels that will contribute to the growth of that facility. And if you look at the land use, to the west is all developed. And to the east is, this parcel is about a half a mile from the hospital. You have got to start looking at development for that type of use. What it will do is it will increase your tax base, and not just, you'll just not get revenue through taxation of property, but you'll get tax revenue through sales tax. And I think it's extremely important that you take a look at this type of thing in your developing. All these people that live in Elk Ridge and Salem will be using this road. And we need to capitalize on them by having them stop and look at stop at retail facilities. Also, the practitioners of the hospital, we need to attract them so that they can come and participate at the Payson Hospital. I think that we can't just be developing residential properties, particularly with these parcels. If you look at the parcels on 1500 East and Highway 198, those four corner parcels there are prime properties, and they need to be developed to the highest use. I don't think we're doing that.
Yes, we are. We've got plans for
Are you
those.
sure?
There's about 9 acres on that corner that's vacant right now that is for retail.
And so that's for retail. So you're using this as a buffer.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you tell me how this project will benefit the hospital then?
Well, and this again isn't an answer and question and answer period, but I'll answer that real quickly. You've described the property to the west of the development. There are plans there to help augment what the hospital could maybe expand to. So there have been some plans there that have been looked at.
Well, I think that you ought to take a good hard look at those parcels there and make sure that you develop them to their highest use.
I echo exactly what you're saying. It's very important.
Okay. Well, all right. I just by way of thought, you know, I think the apartments that were placed there was a huge mistake.
Well,
They're incongruent with the 55 and older group, and plus you didn't take into consideration their proximity to the hospital.
yes, we did.
I don't think so.
There's other plans to the
In
west.
fact, I know you. I cannot believe that you would sit and say that, sir. That surprises me.
That's fine. That's your opinion, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
I very much do.
Well, thank you very much. You have a good day.
You bet.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to come up and address us during this public hearing? We do appreciate your opinions. Okay, not seeing anyone that would like to continue with the public hearing. I'll accept a motion to close this public hearing.
Any motion that we close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Motion carries. Council, any further discussion?
What does the area specific plan there show for commercial and retail, Michael? Next to these,
So similar to what the mayor already said, the property just to the north of this in our future annex or future land use map shows a kind of a mixed use development. I do believe we have a plan that will be adopted very shortly that details the plans for that entire corridor. And so that would have much more detail to that. And that plan will be coming to us shortly for approval. So.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions?
I am grateful to see it's single family homes. I really am.
Okay, we'll go ahead, I'll accept a motion to vote on this item and go from there. Is there a motion?
Oh, I guess I'll do it then, okay. Mayor, I motion that we approve the Linaria Springs annexation at approximately 1,500 east and 100 south. And direct staff to work with the petitioner to finalize our annexation agreement. I'll leave that to their discretion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion that's seconded, starting, a roll call vote, starting with Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Hyde.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, motion carries.
Hey, Bill, we need two of those. We need one for the ordinance for the annexation itself, and the other one for the annexation agreement.
Okay, all I have was this one, so which one did we do just now?
Well, it should be two different.
We're going to do two different,
Yeah, just separate.
okay.
Would you like to, who would like to make a motion on that?
Do we need to separate, do both of them again? Is that what you'd like?
No, just,
They can do them
just
separate.
say, just do.
Do a motion for the annexation agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor, I motion that we have an annexation agreement put in place between the petitioner and staff at the Unaria Springs annexation.
I'll second.
Good. We also have a motion and seconded. Roll call vote, starting with Council Hyatt,
Yes.
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, number 3. Jonathan, it's an ordinance amendment to the Payson City Development Guidelines.
Sorry, my boss was talking.
Boss takes precedent to a point.
So the development guidelines, the power, electrical construction standards, and our normal public works construction standards, we typically go through an update process every year. Most of the time it's because through the course of the year, if we have a problem or an issue that's consistently coming up with contractors or developers and it's confusing to them, so it causes problems in the field, we try to clarify some of that stuff in our annual updates. With this year, it was a little bit bigger of an update. We got a new SWIP inspector, and he's very knowledgeable in the SWIP process and that MS4 program, and so he helped put in quite a bit more information as far as our stormwater pollution prevention details go and our standards with that. So there's a little bit update in that. With the electrical power, the electrical construction standards, we took some of the redundancy out of the typical development guidelines, so that we weren't duplicating information and potentially missing it in one place and causing problems that way. Other than that, the other big thing in the very beginning of the development guidelines, I added a lot of text, because we hear a lot that when we try to get someone to fix something in the field and they say, well, you guys approved the plans this way, and it makes when we use the term, well, these are approved plans, it makes everyone think that we designed it, we accepted it, and we take full liability for everything that's on them, and that's not the case, and we can't do an exhaustive review of every plan set that comes through, nor do we have the information to do that kind of review. And so I added a lot of language to the beginning of the document that kind of spells that out, that these guidelines are to help get you through the process, what we expect. We're not going to catch everything every time, and so that's a lot of the red in the beginning of the document is. But
Any questions, Council?
How are we compared to other cities? Are ours pretty congruent with what they have?
yeah.
I just want to make it so it's just black and white. There's not any little gray in there. This is how it has to be. It's in writing. This is how it is in San Quentin. This is in Spanish Fork, Provo. we're the same, why would you expect it to be different here?
Right, and so our new SWIP inspector, Dale Carter, I don't know if you guys have met him or not. He's really great. He came from Salem City. He got them through their audit that they had and worked really closely with the state and put together their whole MS4 program. And so, you know, a lot of the details come from what he developed in Salem and then stuff that Spanish Fork is using. So we're trying to be, you know, a little bit more consistent with the cities around us.
Just make it so we know and they know.
Yeah.
So I don't want.
There's nothing worse than hearing a contractor say, "Oh, no other city makes me do this," and it's like,
Sometimes that's not quite true.
you know, we know it's not true. It's almost never true, but
Council? Okay, if there's no further questions, I'm ready for a motion on this item.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the amendments to the Payson City Development Guidelines.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second, roll call vote, forget which side to start on. I'll start on Council Rowley.
Yes,
Council Moss,
Yes.
Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
thank you.
Jonathan, thank you for all the work you've been doing.
Council, next one, resolution authorizing city manager to represent Payson City on Strawberry Water User Association Board, would ask you to table this. It was not, we had a problem with our website and so it was not, posted right. And so I'd like to have your permission to table this.
So be it.
Okay, does that require a vote?
Second. Yes.
We good? Okay, all in favor to table this, number 4 resolution? What's that?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of tabling this, say aye.
Aye.
Was that unanimous?
It was.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. The next one I think will be unanimous as well. I need a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you.